Israël wordt voortdurend bedreigd in zijn bestaan. Hoe garandeert het Israëlische leger de veiligheid van zijn bewoners? Welkom bij deze speciale aflevering van Uitgelicht vanuit Israël. Ik heb vandaag een gesprek met kolonel Uri Halperin, een kolonel in het Israëlische leger. Mr. Halperin, can you tell me about the work that you have done for the Israeli army in the last years?
I worked for the army for 30 years. Most of my career was in the intelligence corps. I worked also for the tactical level and the operational level. Deals with counterterrorism and defense our borders. And of course I had the privilege to work for the Prime Minister in the Prime Minister office as the intelligence officer there.
Can you tell about your intelligence work? Because I don't know anything about it. Can you explain me what it requires to be working in this area, in this field?
Intelligence is actually is a way to collect information about your enemy, to analyze this information, and at the end to foil his intention to hurt you.
And the enemy in Israel or outside Israel?
In and outside, of course.
Okay.
When we are talking about internal intelligence, it's mostly about counterterrorism. As you know, Israel live in a very problematic area, and from time to time we need to protect our civilians by collecting information about those terrorist organizations or other individuals that would like to hurt or to...
How do you do that? Can you give me an example?
The intelligence is based on a lot of sources, from human sources, people that worked with you in order to achieve this information.
You mean like people who are...
Spies?
Spies,
Yes,
or
could be spies.
Undercover or
Could
stuff
be
like that?
spies, could be undercover, could be other options that use other people in order to achieve to get this critical information in order to protect your people. It could be also electronic intelligence, a lot of signals and in the air that has some kind of information that could be relevant to your needs. And it could be also open sources intelligence.
What
A
does
lot
that
of
mean?
information is been published. So you can learn a lot from open sources.
Yeah, Israel has the reputation that they have a very, very strong intelligence and that maybe they know even everything from everybody. Is that true?
I think the Israelis has the ability to be very precise and very accurate in what they do.
Why is that?
Because we cannot lose time. When we have to foil a terrorist organization that want to attack in the middle of Tel Aviv, we would have to be very fast, we would have to be very precise, we would have to collect information from the right place and not from many other places, because we cannot lose time. If we lose time, we might lose the people that are going to be attacked.
Did you manage to stop a terror attack because of your intelligence work?
Of course, all the time.
Can you give me an example of like something that happened and you were able to stop it?
It's not me. I was part of a system. For example, there was a woman that came to Erez cross area.
Crossing, that's at the Gaza border, right?
Yes. And she was treated. She was treated by Soroka Hospital in Be'er Sheva because she had a very unique
disease.
And so on a regular basis, she crossed the cross area. And one day, one of the Hamas activists that had some kind of relationship with her, he promised her that he would be able to marry her or to be with her if she will do a suicide attack in the hospital, in the exact place where she'd been treated since she was a young girl. And so we knew about this a little bit before. So we waited for her to come, and when she came, we asked her to take off her coat and shirt, and of course there was a belt behind it, and we foiled this attack, this horrible attack.
Yeah. If we talk about the situation in Israel right now, what are the threats, the most important threats that Israel is facing?
I think that first I must say that Israel is in a very good condition, or maybe I can say it in another way. There was never a better time.
Why is that?
Because we used to, in the last, since Israel is already 69 years old, and in the first years we faced a conventional threats, like from Syria, from Egypt, from Iraq, from other places. And right now, those countries are facing internal war.
So their attention is not on Israel?
Their attention is not for Israel. Besides that, the fact that we signed a peace agreement with Egypt, Egypt had had a huge army, the huge military force. And once they signed the peace agreement with us, Egypt is not a threat anymore for us.
Right.
So
what is the threat at this moment?
So the threat actually, it's the first threat is the nuclear Iran. Iran could probably go back to their project in 10 years from now. And it's a huge threat, because if you look what's happening today between the United States and North Korea, you can understand what are the implications
How fast it can go, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also what is the implications of nuclear facilities and nuclear capabilities, military nuclear capabilities, in the hands of radical regimes. So this is the first. The second threat is Hezbollah. Hezbollah is now...
It's in Lebanon.
Is in Lebanon, dealing with the war in Syria, but at the same time he tried to build up his forces to another campaign against Israel. The next war with Hezbollah would be very nasty and destructive for both sides.
What about Gaza?
Gaza is the third threat. Gaza, as you know, we disengaged from Gaza in 2006, but the Gazans, they don't really want the land. They want to kill Jews, and Hamas want to kill Jews. That's according to their ideology, and it's not about peace and it's not about land. It's about killing Jews.
So you think it's a matter of time until they start again?
Yes, it's now they paid a huge price for the last campaign in 2014.
Yeah.
They need to reorganize again in the military, and also in the civilians' point of view.
And the price they paid, you mean that a lot of people, warriors were killed, and a lot of infrastructure, right?
I think the Gazans doesn't like another war. They don't want another war, and the Hamas leadership had to
persuade them or something.
yes, how to, if they want to lead, they need to if they want to lead, they need to halt these campaigns or to stop these campaigns.
But do you what period do you think? How long will it take until a new war is starting? Is there information about this?
I cannot say when it's going to be the next war, because we learned from 2014 and 2006, and even before, we learned that wars could come surprisingly. You don't expect to the war.
And suddenly
you don't
it happens.
expect war, but it's coming.
Yeah.
For example, 2014, the Hamas kidnapped 3 boys, and the implication was war.
Yeah.
They didn't expect for war. In 2006, Hezbollah kidnapped 2 soldiers. They never thought that it's going to lead to a war, but war happened.
Yeah.
So you cannot. You have to be prepared to war.
Yeah.
You know, there is a Roman say that if you want peace, you need to prepare for war.
Yeah. Is Israel
You need to
prepared
be
for war?
ready.
Is Israel prepared for the war?
Israel has to be prepared to war all time. And Israel is very strong, and I believe that they won't kick out the Israelis from here.
So what was your personal reason to join the army?
First, I didn't choose. It's, as you know, joining the army is a mandatory obligation.
Yes.
In Israel. But when I had to choose if I want to go to the officer course and to stay in the army for more time, I think that the war in 1982 made me think that my place is in the army, and I can contribute to the country by serving it.
Yeah. And do you still have this idea, or did it change in the 30 years that you were in the army?
You know, after you have a family, and at the beginning of the 90s, I already had a family, and I already had a son, my first son. And we were inside Lebanon at that time. I served in Lebanon at that time, and it was very hard to come every few weeks home to see your young son needed a father.
Yeah.
And so from time to time, there was a thought about maybe I should do something else. But then there was another challenge.
Yeah.
And
that's why you kept doing it.
At the end of the day, I'm not. At the end of the day, I'm happy that I had the ability to serve my country.
Yeah. Let's talk about Syria, because Syria is all over the news right now, and a lot of refugees are coming to Europe from Syria. Can you tell me your viewpoint about what is exactly going on there and about the wave of immigrants that's coming to Europe?
The Syrian war is going to continue for many months from now. And what differs this Syrian war today than what we saw in the last years, is that that right now Assad regime is, with the help of the Russians and Iran, Assad regime gain a lot of success.
Yes.
And what he's trying to do now is trying to do this ethnical cleansing of those Sunnis communities lived in Aleppo, lived in Homs, lived in other places around Damascus. He's trying to kick them out of the area.
Yeah.
And they don't have any other place to go.
So they go to Turkey and then to...
They go to Turkey or to Jordan. Jordan and Turkey cannot contain so many refugees, so they are heading to Europe.
Yeah.
As long as the war in Syria will continue, there probably will be more and more refugees coming into Europe. But I think what is worried these days is that these refugees are different than the previous refugees.
In what way?
Because they are coming directly from the war areas. They are traumatized. Some of them had to participate in the war in order to survive.
Yeah.
And it would take years to make them to bring them back into a normal life.
And in what way is that a problem for Europe?
I think Europe had to understand that they might need to treat to cure those refugees and to invest a lot of efforts in those traumatized people.
Right.
But the other problem of Europe these days is that ISIS has been defeated. And ISIS try to find other places to fulfill his ideology. They can always go to other Sunnis countries in their region, like Saudi Arabia, like the Gulf states, or like Jordan, but they prefer to go to Europe because they want to change this campaign into a religious war.
Yeah.
And I believe that a lot of ISIS members, a lot of ISIS activists would find a way to penetrate to Europe.
Do you think Europe is reacting in a good way?
No.
Tell me.
From the humanitarian point of view, I believe Europe is doing the right thing because they accepting those poor people that cannot live in other places.
It's important. They don't have a home anymore, so they have to go somewhere.
Definitely. Definitely, it's right. But from the security point of view, I think Europe needs to do much more in order to secure its citizens by identify those people, especially those people that are coming without papers, without identification papers. They have to identify those people in a way that would allow the government to decide if this guy is ISIS or this guy is just a normal refugee or innocent refugee.
So what would you advise them?
I would advise them to use some of the technologies and some of the know-how that others already knows how to do it in order to eliminate the risks.
So, last question. Do you think Israel would be able to cooperate like with Europe in this matter?
I know that Israel is already cooperating.
It's already happening now?
Yes, already. As you know, there is a lot of cooperation between intelligence and the Israelis share intelligence in order to make sure that terror attack won't take place not just in Tel Aviv, also in Berlin or also in Amsterdam.
Yeah. Mr. Halperin, thank you very much for this conversation. Our time is up already. U thuis ook bedankt voor het kijken. Dit was een speciale Uitgelicht aflevering voor vandaag. Graag tot morgen.